I thought a lot of good, a lot of things to work on, with some guys being limited in some situations, continuity, and we're mixing and matching people. But I thought there were some guys that really showed up, and some of our younger players are getting more confident and the ability to make some plays. So I was pleased. Guys like Brian Dilworth came up with a nice interception. Demarius McGee, Demarius has been extremely limited, and to see him out there and showed up again today. Keely Hubbard had an interception. So obviously we threw too many interceptions, so there's plenty to work on. But again, I've always hesitated with you guys on that question, because when somebody's doing well, that means the other side's probably not doing what you want it to be. But for being halfway through, we're making progress.
You mentioned limitations. How is the health of this team right now?
Fair at best. Probably like it to be a little healthier, but that's part of it. We look at everything. I don't know, we're starting right after spring. We try to ease into it. Sometimes that plays a factor. Sometimes it's bad luck. But we'll get there. And when some are out, it creates opportunity for others.
Has anything new popped up, or is anyone out for the spring or anything?
That's a loaded question. There's some guys that Lawrence Arnold's done for the spring. Devin Neal misses more than half the practices with class. We have like 8 guys that leave that way. Calvin Clements will be out for the rest of the spring. That's it for out for the rest of the spring. Well, Jeremy Robinson hasn't practiced. That was a cleanup surgery from the season. Who else am I missing? There's probably another one I've forgotten there, but I'll try to. No, Kobe will be there. Kobe's fine. He'll be fine.
With those
Kobe Baines?
Brian.
Kobe will be there.
With the scrimmages, how important is that for the younger guys who maybe haven't gotten a ton of game reps at this point in their career?
Oh, it's extremely important. There's a chance, they've been waiting on getting, and I think our guys do, I really do, is they understand that it's an evaluation opportunity, and it's not just a practice rep, and sometimes. So, and you get a chance to see somebody under a different circumstance, and I think we're getting some good reads on some guys. And, I've talked about Cornell Wheeler in the past. It's very important in so many ways for him to take charge in the middle and do those things that we're asking him to do. Alex Reich is a guy we're going to continue to need, to build depth at linebacker. So, guys like that, and there's just a few, but they're across the board. Good competition and mixing and matching of people in the offensive line, and what is it going to be to find our 5 best? So, a lot of good things about it.
And what have you seen from the offensive line?
Good. And I see some things that we're still working through snaps. Dre's played some center. Shane Baumgartner's new to the program, has been in there, and then Michael Ford. And then when Michael moves in, Daryl Simmons plays the left guard. So again, we'll have the pieces to move around. Still coming off injuries from last season. Bryce Cable is practicing a lot, but not complete all the time. And the same with Logan Brown. So again, when you ask these questions, I hit on those because it's not always as smooth with guys working together in a lot of different spots as we'd like it to be, but at the same time, we're getting good reps.
I know this was a question for you guys last offseason, and it turned out pretty well, but what's the process going to be like of finding a pass rush heading into this year?
Well, yeah, I think right now, where we're at currently, Dean Miller and Dylan Brooks are 2 of those guys that we're going to really be counting on. Dean's a guy that's been here. We've had high hopes for him, and really, he's a guy who had, wasn't putting on weight and whatever, but he came back in a good position of almost 20 pounds heavier, and he's been able to maintain it. And I think he's shown up this spring. And Dylan Brooks, came in last summer from Auburn. He's got, those 2 guys give us a lot of length and things that we're looking for. And, it's going to be important for them to continue to take the next steps.
What's it been like watching Devin and Jalen die? Work together.
Good.
exist
I
together.
can't say I really have jumped in to watch it, so I'm probably not going to give you that good quote you need for that right now. But the thing about the Dye brothers is so neat is that they're humble, hardworking guys, though, that continue to embrace the culture of what we're trying to get done, work on their deficiencies. For both of them at that position, we've got to challenge them to continue to want to communicate. They're pretty quiet guys, and that's a position, and that whole position has to come out of its shell now that Kenny's gone. It's because Kenny did a lot of the communicating, and that for all of them, OJ has to, and Marvin, and both Devin and Jalen. So it's been good to see that way, and I know they'll continue to be guys that'll help us, and we're gonna need those guys on special teams as well.
I also wanted to ask you about the running back room.
Mm-hmm.
You got, the obvious veteran, top tier, and then you got a lot of young talent too. Have you ever had a room where it's been, those vets that have been here so long, and then, gosh, the rest is so young and new, and what is the good in that?
Well, that can happen, and I think it can happen in college football because the middle group of guys get impatient sometimes, But we have Savion there. That, he's just had trouble staying healthy, unfortunately. But it's a great opportunity for the Johnny Thompsons and Harry Stewart to really be in that room, learn, ask questions, because Devin was just saying to me today at practice, talking about Harry and how talented he is, but he was saying he was doing some self-reflection about where he was at the early stages and how he wants to try to help Harry maybe close those gaps sooner than he did. So that it's really good to have, and Jonathan Wallace does a great job with that and making sure that group will be cohesive and ready. But there'll be a good opportunity for some of those young guys to get to play.
What have you seen from Harry? Daniel, we talked about Saturday, mentioned he had a good play in the scrimmage.
Well, he's darn near ready-made physically. When you look at the guy's shoulders, quads, calves, the whole thing. He's got good speed. He's got to continue to work on footwork, seeing some things, pad level at points of contact, but he definitely showed signs that he's going to be able to be very productive in this offense.
We talked about some of the offensive players, about kind of the four pillars of what Jeff Grimes wants the offense to be. Just how have you seen him go about working with the players on figuring out that vision?
Yeah, I think Jeff is there's similarities between him and what Andy did in the past, but there's some newness of approach that I think at times can be beneficial during times of change and his approach of doing it. But there's still a definite of command of the offense and expectations and an intensity that'll be needed. But he's been able to articulate it in a way that our players they know what's expected of them, and I think as we continue for everyone to work together and work through, we have a lot of new people in our building staff-wise, which I've said before can be challenging, but it also makes you refresh that you're going back to square one on a lot of different things, but also integrating new thoughts.
Lance, you mentioned Dean. He looks bigger. Is that happening?
It's happening, yeah. And it's staying on, and I don't know, between the good Lord and the light went on, that in order to be able to play, that I got to be bigger. And I said, we didn't bring in, just only run down on kickoffs. So he's embraced it, and it's good to see, and he's got a chance to really help us. Another young guy, Dak Brinkley, is going to be, continues to make progress. He missed a lot of his senior year, so another guy that could be a potential guy to rush the passer, and I think we got some other guys coming in June.
There's obviously the new rules with the headsets that you guys can have direct communication, I believe, with the players.
Yep.
Do you start implementing that stuff like now?
We have three right now. We have three helmets that are there. So two quarterbacks and Cornell are the guys right now. We may rotate a quarterback, and do some things, but right now we are working on it and trying to get used to that as well. We had it at the bowl game, but we continue to work and progress with some of the things that are coming down the road here of trying to make it help game day type things, and it's exciting, and we want to make sure that we take advantage of it.
Hey Lance, Nevada officially hired Matt Lubick yesterday.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, obviously you guys lose him, but how does it feel knowing he's doing well enough that he can...
Yeah, I'm so happy for Matt. Really, I'm torn because I'm sad that he's not part of our program, because not only is he an excellent football mind and coach, he's even a better person, and getting a chance to know him and his contributions to this program. But it's something that we have known about, and it's been in the works, and even through all of this, to still see him jump on calls and things, even through his treatment, and still contribute to this program, it was truly amazing. Late in the recruiting, on-road time in January, Jeff Grimes and Jim Zabrowski and myself, were in the Denver area recruiting, and we had a chance to stop in and spend a few hours with Matt, so we have seen him and his family, and again, we wish him all the best, and though he's not part of the staff anymore, we'll always be in contact with him.
It sounded like, when Devin talked to us today, it sounded like he was leaning toward leaving after the Kansas State game last year. Were you
I
aware
read
of that.
I read that. Yeah, is that you that wrote that?
I think Michael wrote that.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, I think there was a time where there's, I think everybody, like I say, you guys are not recording me. We open windows and decisions at some of the times that are toughest on student athletes. It's a long year. They're going through these thoughts. A lot of things go through your mind. You probably go through it in your own profession sometimes late in the year and stuff. But we had some really good conversations. His parents came up. We talked about it, and I think he absolutely made the best decision, no matter what plays out, because we're also able to put him in a great spot that he'll graduate here in 3.5 years, which also, just continues to add to his story. So, he was torn, and then he says, whatever, that as long as he wanted to make sure the staff was staying together, he wanted to make sure all of this, but at the end of the day, he knows what he can accomplish yet here and the impact he continues to make, and he has a lot of football ahead of him after KU as well. All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.